Hi everyone, today's date is November 17th. This week's workshop is on budgeting for the holidays. We have a little over a month left before Christmas. There's also other holidays for people that don't celebrate Christmas that are coming up. So I know it can be a very expensive and busy time of year for everybody. So we thought that it was a good idea to get this information out to you. This workshop is going to be budgeting in general and also some specific tips for budgeting during the holidays. So some of the topics we're going to cover today is why budget. There's going to be a money quiz. We're going to go over different types of budgeting, places in the community to get budgeting help. We're going to talk a little bit about scams and payday loans, Christmas spending, tips for Christmas budgeting, and Christmas resources. When I said Christmas there, that could apply to just any holiday as well around this time of year, so not necessarily Christmas. So why do we budget? Why would budgeting be important? Please feel free to make some comments on why you think budgeting is important. I put a couple of examples here. Budgeting primarily helps us plan for emergencies and helps us pay for the things we need as well as want. Big part of budgeting is it keeps us out of debt. So debt is a huge problem in our country. Many people are, a paycheck away from losing a lot of the things they own. They are very severely in debt. So we want to try to avoid going into debt. We want to try to avoid, having our debt increase. So for those of you who aren't aware, debt is money that is owed, and it's usually owed with interest. So if I take out $1 from the bank might expect $1.20 back. So that would be interest. The goal with budget is to balance your income and expenses. So income is the amount of money that comes in. We can get income from different sources. The most common income we get would be from employment. You all receive, or most of you receive, AISH benefits, so that would be an example of income. So it'd be incoming money. And an expense would be outgoing money, so things that you pay for. Bus, gas, vehicle if you have one, groceries, rent, telephone, fun, things like that. And when we budget, we want to make sure our income and our expenses are balanced. We would get into debt if our expenses, or the money going out, the money we're paying, is higher than the money we're receiving. And we want to try to avoid that. So budgeting is very, very important. Next up, I want you guys to finish this or do this quiz. So I'll give you a couple 30 seconds to grab a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to answer the following questions. Okay, so I hope you got a pen and a paper. We're going to start with the quiz. What I'll do is I will read out every one of these questions, and you will need to write a yes or no. So all you have to put is the number. So number 1, write yes or no beside number 1. I have no idea where my money goes every month. I just don't think about money. Put yes or no to that question. Number 2, I act as if I have plenty of money, but inside I'm always worried that I don't have enough, even to meet my monthly bills. Yes or no to that question. Number 3, I have no idea where I got my attitudes about money. Yes or no? Number 4, I feel ashamed about having more money than my friends, or less than. If they found out, I'm afraid they wouldn't like me. Yes or no to that question? Number 5, it seems like I'm always comparing my financial situation with others. No matter how much I actually have, I always feel like I come up short. Yes or no? I'm embarrassed about the amount of debt I owe. I would never talk about it with any of my friends or acquaintances. Yes or no? Number 7, no matter how much money I actually have, I'm secretly afraid I will lose everything and become a homeless person. Yes or no? I'm too busy at work to deal with my money. I just don't have the time. Yes or no? I'm clueless about money. I don't even know the right questions to ask. My financial advisor just tells me what to do with my money. So that's number 9. Mark yes or no for that one. Number 10, I keep having to use a credit card to cover my monthly bills. Number 11, I worry that I will never be able to make it financially if my spouse or partner leaves me or dies. I'll always have to do without, so I might as well get used to it. I can never really have what I want. That's number 12. Number 13, my body gets tense when monthly bill paying time rolls around or when contemplating a large purchase. Number 14, it's hard to face or even think about people to whom I owe money. Number 15, I use money to punish or reward myself. As a rule, I always buy the most inexpensive item. For example, though I think Ben & Jerry's ice cream tastes the best, I buy the cheapest brand at the drugstore. It's frivolous to spend extra money on good taste. And the last question, having money means having control. Yes or no? If you answer true to even 5 of the above questions, you may want to explore your beliefs around money. So if you answered yes to any of those questions, that specific question might give you a glimpse into a negative belief or an unhealthy belief you might have about money. And it's important that we take a look at this because by better understanding our attitudes and values towards money, we can gain control of money instead of it controlling us and put it in its proper place. Money shouldn't have too much power. It is important, and we shouldn't have no concern about money because it is important. So it's about meeting in the middle. Okay. The next part of this workshop is going to be about the different types of budgeting. So these are things you can do throughout the year. It doesn't have to be just around Christmas time, but this there's many different types of budgeting strategies out there. These are 4 that have been highlighted here, and sometimes it's good to know, what budgeting strategy might work based on your personality type and the goals you want out of your money. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of the different budgeting strategies. What you'll find below, let's see if I can get my mouse to move here. Oh, right here. What you'll find here is a link to some articles about the different types of budgeting strategy. So feel free to hop online. There's a lot of extra resources in addition to what I have here. So zero-based budgeting. The zero-based budget ensures that each and every dollar has a purpose, which aligns with your priorities. It also helps to remove spending guilt by assigning your dollars to different subcategories. What's important is this is before you're spending the money. When you use a zero-based budget, you find money in your budget every month to allocate towards specific goals, such as building an emergency fund. One of the ways you built up your emergency fund quickly, or you build up, sorry, is by going on week-long spending fasts. So you don't spend anything for a whole week. You only spend on essentials like paying your mortgage or rent and your utilities. That way, when emergency bills pop up, you are prepared. So that is the zero-based budgeting in a nutshell. The next one is called the 50-30-20 method. So with this one, 50% of your income will go towards your needs: rent, utilities, transportation, food. 20% will go towards saving or investing or getting rid of your debt. 30% will go towards flexible spending, so things that you want, going out to eat, concerts, buying, technology, things that you don't necessarily need, but things that you want. So you can always rearrange these percentages to make it work for you. So if you like to explore and travel, maybe you want to find a cheaper place to live, so you spend less of your income on rent and more on fun things. So then your needs might be 40% and your wants might be 40%. The key to being successful with this budget is to be consistent and stay within the percentages. This way that you know that you're covering your expenses, saving, and budgeting for some fun. And here's a little link down here, www.wealthsimple.com, to help you out with more information on this budgeting strategy. The third strategy is called the reverse budget, or pay yourself first. The reverse budget allows you to play up your strengths and focus on the big picture goals to determine your spending priorities. So your first goal is to pay yourself before you do anything. Because at the end of the month, once you've paid your bills and spent money on things like clothes, movies, etc., you won't have anything left to save. So to get going, you might want to check out a program like Chime Save when you get paid. Once you sign up online, you can direct 10% of every paycheck into an account. And then it's right off the top, you don't have to worry about it. The next thing would be to put monthly expenses on auto pay. So direct deposit your rent, your mortgage payment, your telephone bill, anything like that. That way, you don't have to, or you won't forget about the payments and incur late fees, which can be very expensive. So after you've put towards saving, after you have put your monthly expenses on auto pay, the rest you can use to treat yourself. If you want more information about the reverse budget, you can check out www.fords.com, creating a budget that works for you. And the last recommendation is, it's more of a tool rather than a technique, but it is called the cash envelope system. So to stay on track with your spending, cash envelopes can be especially helpful for people who tend to dislike working with numbers and complex spreadsheets. You can even consider a hybrid approach. Maybe you start with automating your savings and bill payments like the reverse budget, and then you place the remaining funds into cash envelopes for groceries, eating out, and maybe for donating. So you see here they have the envelopes labeled for the school, vet, electricity, shopping, medical, and food. An important thing to remember here would be to put the envelopes in a safe place where they can't get lost or stolen. And you wouldn't want to take money out of other categories unless you absolutely had to. So if you want more information about the cash envelope system, check out www.thebudgetmom.com, the ultimate guide to cash envelope system. So I'd like to know from you guys, have you used a certain budgeting system? And if so, what one has worked for you? I'll give you 30 seconds to a minute to answer. So if you don't remember, or if you remember rather, one thing about all of those budgeting systems is to keep track. This is probably the first and most important step when it comes to budgeting, is to know what you're spending, know what you're bringing in for money. There's different ways you can keep track. There are lots of apps available for keeping track. Some people like to do what's called a money journal, and that is when you write down everything you spend, everything that comes in. And sometimes our online bank accounts have the ability to show us what categories we might spend money on. And if you are only using your debit card, then you are going to be able to see what's coming in and what's coming out. So these are all different tools you can use to kind of keep track and get started when it comes to budgeting. The next information I'm going to give to you are places to get budgeting help in Red Deer. There are times when we just need somebody else. Maybe budgeting, we were never taught it, or maybe we're not good at it. Maybe we just need a helping hand. So these are some of the places that I've identified in Red Deer that can help with budgeting. Money Mentors, and all of these are free, by the way. All of these programs are free. Money Mentors is an organization. It is a nonprofit that provides debt relief help. So if you have a high amount of debt and you need help getting that paid off or coming up with a plan, Money Mentors can help you with that. They also have a lot of financial education. I think lots of courses you can take. And then also money tips. So it's a good website just to check out to get some tips on how to better, deal with your money and finances. The second place is through Family Services of Central Alberta. So they have two programs. One is called the ABCs of Financial Literacy, and this is for those having trouble budgeting or if there's a change in your financial lifestyle. And Budgeting Smart through Family Services. The purposes of Budgeting Smart is to improve the economic conditions of participants. It gives them information and skills in order to achieve being self-sufficient with their money. Budgeting Smart will help develop confidence to use the banking system and potentially get on the road to home ownership. So it's 4 weeks and there's one follow-up appointment. And the third one, this is for individuals that are really needing some hands-on help. It's called the Covering the Basics program through Women's Outreach. It's a 12-month program, so 1 year. You would essentially be giving up your monies to the program, and then they would help you maintain your housing stability by paying your rent for you it's your money, but they would ensure your rent is paid, ensure your bills are paid, ensure your debt is getting paid down, and then they give you spending money on top of that. So you're giving up a lot of financial control, but this can be very good for people that are in bad financial positions. So that is a really good program for people that are in a bad way financially. And then www.mymoneycoach.ca is another really good online resource. I found tons of resources. So just a simple Google search can help you. And there is lots of free resources, but these are the ones in Red Deer. Does anyone else know of budgeting help or resources in the community that I haven't listed? I just wanted to take a moment and talk about scams. So I'm sure a bunch of you have gotten scams. They come in all forms and sizes. as you can see here, it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. So sometimes scams seem too good to be true, right? Sometimes they'll say, oh, you're gonna get a whole bunch of money, or you'll get a job, just give us this or that. Sometimes they can use scare tactics or fear tactics. So if you don't give us this money, we will send you to jail, things like that. I did put a link at the bottom there that they do their best at the Anti-Fraud Center to inform people about all of the different types of scams and frauds that exist. So check that out if you're curious. The important thing to remember about scams is to never give away personal information, especially your SIN number or banking information, but that can also include personal information, so your address, telephone number, email address. If you're in doubt, ask. So if you get a phone call, I mean, you don't recognize the number, let it go to voicemail. If they leave you a voicemail and it says, oh, this is the Canada Revenue Agency and you owe us money and we're gonna arrest you. I mean, just ask somebody you trust that they can help guide you through it, but never give away personal information. If you have a job offer, you know, sometimes I know there's scams on Indeed, and they'll say, oh, we have a job, just send us your SIN number and banking information. Do not do that. I mean, you can talk to us about it if you have questions, okay? The only time you're going to give your SIN number and banking information is if you actually have a job offer. And I would wait till you sit down with that person, meet them, see the business, make sure it's legit. So I included scams in here because I know lots of people have been have lost money due to scams. So it's an important thing when it comes to budgeting and money, is to be aware that these exist. Okay, another really important thing I wanted to include in here was about payday loans. So a payday loan is a high interest loan. So it's unlike a credit card in that the loan or the interest rate is very high. So the cost of the loan, it might range from $10 to $30 for every $100 borrowed. A typical 2-week payday loan with $15 per $100 fee equates to an annual percentage of almost 400%. So payday loans they kind of lure you in saying, you know, we'll give you a paycheck before you get your paycheck and then you'll pay us back. But what can happen is people get sucked in and caught into the cycle of spending money before they have it, and then they end up paying a ton in interest charges. So these are very dangerous. I would highly discourage these. I think these are a really good way to get yourself into a nasty cycle of spending. And you're going to end up paying a lot more than you actually borrowed. So another important thing about payday loans to know is that they can be very aggressive. So they're known to harass borrowers at work. They'll call you at your workplace. They'll take money right out of your bank accounts, and they've also threatened to have people arrested and sued. So stay away from those. Okay, so now we're gonna head into why budget over Christmas time. I wanted to show you guys these crazy stats. So, 4 in 10 people get stressed or anxious before the holidays. They say it's the most financially stressful time and they can't afford what they're expected to. So, I don't know if you guys feel this way. I feel this way. I feel like sometimes I have to save just to spend for Christmas. To me, sometimes it defeats the point of Christmas. To me, it's about spending time with the ones we love, but there's all this pressure to buy nice gifts for everybody. I think that we should look at it a little bit differently, but these are some of the statistics that suggest that most people are feeling that way. So 2 in 10 feel financial stress ruins the holidays, causes tension with their partner, and affects work productivity. So it's impacting 2 out of every 10 people in that way. 1 out of 4 people say the holidays negatively affect their mental health. And this number goes up by 50 for those who have a lot of debt. So debt is really stressful for people. So I would say we should very much avoid debt in general, and we should avoid debt primarily around Christmas time. So other statistics here, it says that 2 out of 3 Canadians are holiday spenders. So among those, 6 out of 10 don't even have a budget for Christmas. They believe that they're going to spend more than they've budgeted for. 6 out of 10 people are willing to go into debt just to purchase gifts. 8 out of 10 have become too spending focused, and 50% feel pressure to overspend. So these are really scary statistics, and it's no wonder that depression and anxiety go up during the holiday season when there's this much pressure to buy presents for others, even to the point that we're going to be going into debt over it. And then interestingly enough, 42% of men say they lie about purchases, and mostly about electronic purchases. And for women, 40% lie about clothing. So I mean, so not only are we going into debt and we're having mental health issues, but we're also starting to lie about some of our behaviors. This can be a very dangerous trap to get into. I just wanted you guys to realize the true cost of Christmas debt. So when we look here, this was gifts paid on credit cards and what you will really pay. So sometimes you can get a credit card that has decent interest rate, but most of them, especially for first-time credit cards, they have very high interest rates. So this is based on a 19% interest rate and a 2.5 minimum monthly payment. So I just want you to look here. So if you buy a cell phone for $279 and you have 39 months to pay it, you will pay an extra almost $100 in interest. So that's money that you're just wasting. Same with clothing. $27 for that new shirt, 3 months to pay it, you are paying an extra $1. I mean, that one's not so bad, but it's the high ticket items here. As you can see, $400 for tickets. After 64 months, you're paying $240 just in interest to that credit card company. $700 for a new computer, 125 months to pay. You are paying more in interest than you did for that computer. So I just want you to think about this. Buying all these holiday gifts would cost you $2,600. Paying this total off by putting only the minimum payment, so only the 2.5% minimum payment, it would take you 275 months. So there's 12 months in a year. I don't know what the math is on that, but it's a couple years. And this would cost you an additional $4,000 in interest. That's almost 20 years, or 156% more than the original purchase price. So this is how dangerous debt is. This is how silly it is to go into debt over items like this. I talked to a financial advisor once, and he said there's really only 3 things we should be going into debt for: a mortgage, possibly a student loan, and maybe a vehicle. Those are the only 3 things he would advise is wise debt. All the rest of it we should be saving up and buying just without using credit for. So it is important to budget all the time, especially at Christmas. It's gonna save our mental health, it's gonna save our relationships, and it is just the wise thing to do. So right here I have the 5 steps to a credit-free holiday for you guys. We're gonna go over this, okay? So, first step, assess your financial situation. Before you can narrow down your holiday budget, you must do this first to understand how much you've saved, how much you intend on saving and from now until Christmas, to see maybe what you spent last year. So, check it out. How much money do you have? How much do you have saved? How much will you have saved? Next step, make your list and check it twice. Take this moment to make a complete list of all the people you intend to buy for: family, friends, teachers, coworkers, etc. What decorations you need, a holiday meal plan, and anything else you can think of Think back on years prior to see if you've missed anybody or if there's anyone you can remove from your list. It is a strange year, and it's okay if you need to trim your list down, okay? We don't know what it's going to be like towards Christmas time. So this might actually be good for us as long as we're not doing a whole bunch of online spending. Third step, now that you know where you plan on spending your money, you want to put a dollar amount to each category and break your budget down. How much for gifts? Break this down further by putting a dollar amount to each individual. Mom gets 20 bucks, dad gets 20 bucks, sister gets 20 bucks, etc. Add your food. There's usually, if you're entertaining or going somewhere, sometimes food costs can go up. Next, decorations. Do you have some? Are you going to buy new ones? What about attire? Are you going to buy a new shirt for, that Christmas get-together or that Hanukkah get-together? Are you going to be making any special donations? And miscellaneous, okay? If you're a parent, some parents out there will allocate different money towards different kids. Older kids are more expensive, so you can think about maybe budgeting that way. To avoid overspending, take a few days to research. This is step 4. Do your research and plan ahead. So do your research before you go to the mall or go to the online stores. Plan for upcoming sales. I think Black Friday is coming up this Friday, so that might be a time to get cheaper items. Schedule a day or two to get your shopping done. A pro tip is to make sure you eat ahead of time to avoid shopping on an empty stomach and spending more money at the food court. If the holidays have you feeling anxious or stressed more than usual, talk to someone you trust. Chances are they're feeling the same way as you. Maybe gifts aren't in the cards, or you can't afford hosting a big family dinner. So be honest with yourself and your loved ones. Maybe you can work together. Maybe you both decide you're not going to give gifts this year, or you decide on a creative thing to do instead of spending a lot of money. And that would be step 5, is to be honest with yourself and with your family members. So this is the 5 steps to a credit-free holiday. What are some inexpensive gift ideas? So if you decide you can only spend, $5 to $10 on somebody, what can you do instead? What are some other ideas to give that aren't super expensive? So I've come up with a couple. Please feel free to share if you have some too. The more ideas, the better. But some of them might be regift. And I know that some people are against this, but if you have a gift that you've never opened that you're not going to use, give it to somebody else. Another example might be to get crafty. Maybe make somebody something. Personalized gifts are some of the best gifts, and especially if you're putting time and energy into it. Think about sending e-cards rather than a regular card. So that's cards over email. There's lots of free options. Maybe you want to gift experiences. And what I mean by that is maybe you plan to have your friends over for a dinner, and that's what you're going to do instead of purchasing each of them a gift. Or you give them a ticket or a pass to, like a picnic in the park, or, to your significant other. Maybe you want to plan a romantic evening. So those can be experiences that you can gift. You can volunteer your time on behalf of someone else, or donate to a good cause on behalf of someone else. Write a poem or a letter to them. Share your heart. That can be a huge gift for people. And also quality time. Maybe just spending time with that person, can be a gift. So I'm curious to know, what are some gift ideas you guys might have that don't cost a lot of money? Awesome, thank you for sharing if you did. Okay, so the Christmas Bureau is is an organization that provides toys and food hampers to underprivileged people in our area. So if you have kids, you can access the Christmas Bureau. I believe it is open this week. For those that don't have children, you can get a hamper as a couple or as an individual if you meet the criteria. So you have to be low income. So I'm not sure what the cutoff is, but the website is down at the bottom and you can get more information there. If you're going to get a food hamper or sign up for the toys, you have to have photo ID, your Alberta Health Card for all family members, 1 month's recent bank statement, and proof of income for all adults and proof of residency. So they accept people in Red Deer County, Penhold, and Springbrook. More information is on the website. I think we received an email, Natasha received one. They're gonna give gift cards instead of hampers this year. And only the initial appointment is a drop-in. So yeah, if you want more information, you can talk to one of us or check out the website or give them a call. So this is an organization in town that helps. There's also going to be meals offered throughout the city. I'm not sure that the dates and locations of those are posted. And there's other organizations that do help out around Christmas time. Faith-based organizations sometimes have food hampers and giveaways too. So if you're wanting those more resources, just let us know. We can help you with that. AISH payments during the holidays. So I looked this up online. December 1, December benefits will be coming out, and December 31, January 2021 benefits will be coming out. So I wanted to just bring attention to this because this will help you budget properly, knowing when the AISH payments are going to come out, and to not overspend at Christmas time, so that you have enough for your rent and your groceries and your transportation costs, etc. Some other budgeting tips just to wrap it up. During the year and during Christmas time that you can apply. So sometimes you can renegotiate your rent. Maybe talk to your landlord, see if you can reduce it. Renegotiate your phone, TV, and internet services. Sometimes it's just a phone call to your providers and tell them, you know, what position you're in. I can't afford it, or is there another option for me to have reduced costs? Maybe there's a promotion going on. You can buy no-name brands or sale items. So a lot of the times the grocery stores will put the name brands on at eye level, and the ones above or below name brands, sometimes they're not as good, but most of the time they're just as good and they're cheaper. So that might be an option. Shop on discount days, so the 10 or 15% off days at the grocery stores can also be a way to save money. Maybe during Christmas you are worried about overspending. Maybe you want to buy a grocery card. That way you will have money on it strictly for groceries, and you do that before you go and spend on your presents, and that way, you know, worst case scenario, if you have no money, then at least you have that gift card that you can use to go buy your food. So that's a suggestion. And then Christmas prices go down after Christmas. So maybe you and your friends or family decide you want to do Christmas after Christmas, or do the holiday, you know, holiday gift exchange after the holiday. That way you can go shopping and get the sales and spend less money. So those are some of the tips that I could think of. I would love to know if you guys have other budgeting tips, other Christmas gift ideas that are inexpensive. Please share in the comments below, and thank you so much for joining the workshop. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you have a great week.